Hello, so today we are doing this problem called minimum add to make parentheses valid. So let's get started. I'm just going to verify that the stream is working fine. Let's see. Seems like it is working, so that's cool. So the problem says we have a string S of open and closed parentheses, and we add the minimum number of parentheses, either opened or closed, at any position so that the parentheses string becomes valid. And we can have, the string can be empty, it can be written as AB, such that if A concatenated with B, and A and B are valid strings, or it can be written as this one, where A is a valid string. And basically what we want is to return the minimum number of parentheses that we can add to make the string valid. So for example, for this one, if we add the left parentheses at the start, it's going to be valid. And for this one, if we add 3 on the right, it's going to be valid. This one, we don't need to do anything, it's already valid. For this one, we need to add 4, 2 on here and 2 here for it to become valid. And so how can we solve this problem? So the first thing, when we have something like this with validation of a parentheses string, we should think about using a stack, right? So for this problem, let's see. So we have, so for this problem, what we can do is, for this, let's say for this string, for example, we can just traverse the string, and when we encounter a when we encounter a character, we add it to our stack. So we add it to our stack, and then we advance. Now we have this character here. Now when we have a closed and open parentheses, we should just cancel those, because that's a valid one, we don't need to worry about it. And then we advance again, and then we have this parentheses, and at the end we can just return the length of what's remaining in the stack, because that's basically what didn't get invalidated, what didn't get closed. Those that got closed, we can just pop them from the stack and leave just those that didn't find something to pair with, and those will be what we need, the parentheses that we need to add, so that they can pair with what's left, and we can have a valid parentheses. And so the way we can code this is just by going through our string and checking the condition where we have something like this, an open and closed parentheses. So that happens when we encounter a closed parentheses, such that the stack is not empty, because we want the stack to contain an open parentheses that can make the closed parentheses pop with it basically. And the last element in the stack, what's in the top of the stack, is an open parentheses. So basically it's the case when you have the stack containing just this, and we are processing this character here, which basically is a parentheses that will close this one. So in that case, what we want is, we want to pop from the stack so that we can remove this parentheses, this open parentheses here, and we just advance through the string. Now otherwise, in any other case, we just want to add to the stack, and so we can just say append C to the stack, and at the end, whatever was left, that's the answer that we need to return. So just length of the stack. Okay, and that's about it. That should work. Okay, I didn't define the stack, so I should define my stack first. Okay, let's try to run it on some examples. This. Okay, cool. Let's see with this. Okay, cool. And let's say with this one, what happens with this one? Okay, so it seems like it should be working. So let me submit this and see. Okay, so this problem, so this solution passes. Now an even shorter solution, and that doesn't require much doesn't require a stack. So we can just check while our string contains an open and closed parentheses. Those are already valid, so we don't need to count them. And so we can just replace that string with one that, so we can just replace these with empty because these are already valid. We are not interested in them. And so we can just replace those with an empty string. And keep doing this until we no longer have any valid set of parentheses. And at that point we can just return the length of s, because that would be whatever parentheses that is not valid. Okay, and so we can just return that. So yeah, that should be all of it that we need to do. Oh, okay, sorry, this is Python, so it should be while. Actually, while this. Sorry, I wrote it in Java, so it should be something like this. Then we need to replace. Okay, so that seems to work for that case. Now let's see for this one. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so that works. There is another way of solving this problem, which is instead of replacing these or counting the closed, we can just count them. We can just count the left and the right parentheses that we need, and then get the sum at the end. And so that would mean basically is that we can keep track of the left parentheses that we need and the right parentheses that we need, and go through the string. And then if we have an open parenthesis, that means that we need a closed parenthesis to close it off, right? So +1. And if we have, and then if we have a right, if our right value is bigger than 0, so that means we had a closed parenthesis and we already had another, so we already had a right parenthesis, and now we have another closed parenthesis. So at that point we can just subtract from right. Otherwise we need left values, right? Otherwise we need a new left value because it's a closed parenthesis, but it doesn't have any left value that is associated with it, so we need a left value. And at that point we can just return the number of the left parentheses that we need and the right parentheses that we need. Basically by left I mean this one, and by right I mean this one. And that should be all we need to do here. I need to delete this. Okay, so that's the solution. Okay, so that one passes. So yeah, that was it for this problem. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.